And we'll start out with Brex de Bleecker. I hope I'm not butchering that.
You are. You don't.
What do you do for cable management?
Cable management? Man, that's a good question because I've spent an irrational amount of time organizing cables in this studio. My cable setup is somewhere in the ballpark of 250 cables, I'd say, in this room. Running 16 or so channels in the actual drum set with vocal mics and then splitting all of them, running through multiple interfaces and everything. So I'm looking where my audio setup is. But it's definitely something that is worth your time researching and investing your time into managing your cables, especially as your setup gets more and more elaborate. You can't really afford to just have like spider webs all over the room. So there's a few things that you should do. One is the Velcro straps. That's what I like using. You can get them on Amazon. I was gonna say you probably got one over there, right? Yeah, they're everywhere. Hundreds of them in this room. So those Velcro straps are maybe like 4 to 6 inches long and like an inch deep or wide, I guess. Get a box of 100 of those or a bag of 100. They're on Amazon. They are pennies. It's absolutely worth getting those. They also sell them with labels on them, like little white dry erase write-on little labels. You can get those too. That's also worth doing, especially if you're going to revisit your cable setup after a year or two and you want to know what everything is. That's worth doing as well. But another interesting thing that I did was invest in these cable raceways. That's the name of it, a cable raceway. Did you ever have Hot Wheels growing up?
Yeah, the little orange tracks.
The orange track. Oh, yeah. I had some of the blue ones. Yeah, man. And so it looks like that, like you're buying Hot Wheels, like plastic strips, and they have these 3M sticky things on the back of them. And there's basically a top and a bottom. So you basically put the bottom with this 3M sticky stuff. It looks like you're gluing Hot Wheels to like your ceiling or to the floor, or whatever, the Hot Wheels tracks. And so you're building a raceway, and you build that raceway wherever you want it to go around your room. And these packs, the cable raceway packs, you can get them on Amazon. They come with different connectors. So they have like 90-degree angles. They have ones that go around corners. They have 45-degree angles. So you can build this raceway very specifically in a different path around your room. So you just put on the bottom layer, so it's like an open Hot Wheels track. You put all of your cables inside of it so they can hold maybe up to 8 XLR cables. And then it has like a cover that snaps over the top. So it makes for this really, really clean way to snake all of your cables wherever you need them to go. In my room, I did them all above the ceiling because I'll throw in some B-roll here so you can see. I have 4 microphones above the kit. I have a computer monitor that has an HDMI cable and power coming out of it. I have 3 LED lights and a couple other lights that are up there. So it ended up being, maybe 10 plus cables that needed to go from my ceiling to not the ceiling. They had to run down the side of the wall, either to my audio setup or to an outlet for a power source. So what I ended up doing was getting, I think I got 5 sets of these cable raceways. They were like a little under $30 around there. So for 120 to 150 bucks in that range, I was able to run all of these cables that were above my kit sort of along my ceiling really, really clean, then down back behind my computer and hide all of them. So Velcro strips, big one. Cable raceways, another one totally worth your time. And another weird one that a lot of drummers forget is the XLR snake. So an XLR snake is basically a box with XLR inputs. You can buy them with 8 channels on them or 16 channels. I have a 16 channel one. And you plug all of your XLRs from your drum mics directly into that box, and then one fat cable comes out of the back of that XLR snake, and it runs for 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet, whatever length that you actually buy. So it's a good way to connect your drum microphones to your actual computer and your audio setup, because I'm not a fan of having like a drum set up with XLRs just snaked all over the place coming out of it like some spider web of cables just sort of exploded. So I think it's really worth your time to get an XLR snake, get the Velcro little wraps to keep your cables clean, and then cable raceways is another really good one as well. Between those 3, that should solve every cable management problem that you could ever have.
Sick. Yeah, I set up the cables with you when we did the studio about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Super simple, super clean, and made sense.
Yeah, it's worth the time too. We might have spent like an 8-hour day doing that. I mean, you can spend a lot of time organizing cables depending on how elaborate your setup is. But the moment something breaks or you have to fix something, you'll be so glad that you're organized. It's really the biggest pain is when something breaks and you got to do a deep dive and you're like, oh, okay, so starting from scratch, basically, just a big old pile of black cables.
Yeah,
Or, I will mention Austin Burcham. He's a fan of the colored cables. He does that one. So buys like his XLR cables in a rainbow configuration, or you can even buy electrical tape and tape the ends to match them. But that's a good organizational tool as well. So like if blue is the rack tom, you just follow the blue all the way around the room, and then that's your rack tom cable. So if it ever breaks, it's really easy to identify and pull out of your whole setup. So yeah, it depends on what you want to do with it, but that's another good option.
Yeah, an 8-hour day to save time in the future.
Yeah, exactly.